Today I'd like to talk to you about birth trauma. There's a rising incidence in the United States within the last few decades of birth trauma being more prevalent. The reason for this is we have a higher rate of C-sections, we have a higher rate of forceps and vacuum extraction births. All three of these things, forceps, vacuum extraction, C-sections, even a vaginal birth, exert a lot of pressure on the baby's skull and their spine. So when a baby is being born, the contractions force the baby down into the mother's pelvis, putting a lot of pressure on the neck. If the mother has a hard time birthing the baby, forceps or vacuum may be used to actually try to extract the baby from the mother's pelvis. Or if the mother is having a C-section, for whatever reason that may be, the doctor has to get the baby out by pulling on the baby's head. If you've ever seen a video of this happening, it is shocking how much pressure is applied to the baby's cervical spine, their neck. Chiropractically, what happens is when pressure is exerted on the spine and that force is applied, it moves the vertebra in the neck out of place, and this is what we call a subluxation. A subluxation is when a vertebra moves out of place and puts pressure on the nerve. And our nerves control everything in the body, so whatever that nerve is going to is being affected. You can't feel that subluxation happening, you can only feel the effects of that subluxation happening. So for instance, in a child and an infant, what you might notice is, if you're nursing, you may notice that your child doesn't necessarily like to turn to the left breast or to the right breast. This is a great indicator that a child has a subluxation. Why do you say, how can I tell? Well, if our vertebrae are meant to move a certain percent in our neck and that bone is stuck, the baby's not going to want to turn his neck to that side to nurse. Another thing you can do to check your baby is if you hold the baby up and just kind of tilt the baby a little bit, if their head moves this far to the left and only this far to the other side, that indicates that there's a vertebra out of place that needs to be adjusted. Other symptoms that an infant might have after birth trauma is difficulties, again, nursing. It could be bowel movements that aren't regular. Also colicky babies. In my practice, I've seen within the last decade are more and more babies with acid reflux. This could be due to the fact that the vertebra that is out of place is controlling the stomach, not allowing the food to settle like it should, and the baby spits it up. It could be right after the baby eats, it could be a few hours after the baby eats. Sometimes it's just a little spit up, other times it's projectile vomiting. Those are all cases where an infant should be adjusted. Now you can bring your child to a chiropractor just to have those symptoms taken away, but I highly recommend that all infants are checked for subluxations as soon as possible after the birth process. Why not try to prevent your child or your infant from having any of those problems through chiropractic care? Chiropractic care for children is very safe, very effective. I highly recommend that you have your child checked for subluxations as soon as you are able to.